to get to Caitlin Clark fans and the nuclear backlash that A'ja Wilson is getting right now over the the reveal of her Nike.
A'ja Wilson slammed headfirst into a harsh reality check this week. And trust me, this one isn't fading anytime soon. For nearly 2 years, Wilson threw steady shade at Caitlin Clark, moving as if she truly believed the league belonged to her. But then Team USA stepped in and delivered the loudest message possible. They didn't just bench her, they left her completely off the roster. And to seal the moment, Team USA officially locked Caitlin Clark into a starting role in the senior national pool for both the 2026 World Cup and the headline-making 2028 Olympics. Yes, we're going to talk about Wilson's very public reaction. But more importantly, we're pulling back the curtain on the one fatal weakness in her game, something the WNBA establishment, for its own reasons, has never really highlighted. So here's the real question. After hearing everything, do you honestly believe A'ja Wilson deserved that Team USA snub? Drop your real take in the comments.
If you're taken aback by that, if you're like, wait a minute, that didn't compute. What about all of the A'ja Wilson Nike outrage last year that subjected not only Caitlin Clark, but her fans to all kinds of...
Now really picture this. You're constantly labeled one of the greatest players in WNBA history, the so-called face of the league, the kind of name people casually treat as synonymous with women's basketball. And then, just like that, your biggest honor disappears. The chance to wear your country's jersey on the world stage, gone. That's exactly where A'ja Wilson finds herself. A player who believed her reputation alone guaranteed her a spot just learned a very public lesson. Star power isn't a lifetime pass. Team USA's decision to leave her out, while deliberately bringing Caitlin Clark in, wasn't about box score stats. It was a cold, unsentimental evaluation of whose game actually holds up under international pressure. And what it revealed was striking. What happens when flash starts replacing fundamentals? When personal ego outweighs team chemistry? This is where we expose the WNBA's biggest open secret, the one veterans and certain media voices quietly avoid.
A'ja, it looked like they really were intentional about going to Aaliyah in the second half. What was, I guess, difficult about containing her? I know you guys kind of touched on a few things, maybe with the foul calls, but what made it successful for them to keep going to her tonight?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask Aaliyah that question. I honestly, you just do your work. You got to do your work early and make it different. But Aaliyah did say I have a special whistle. She shot 13 today.
She said that.
Yeah. Yeah. She said the last game I had a special whistle, which is cool. So we just got to play their better defense, make her look a little difficult, and kind of.
Let's talk about the fatal flaw in A'ja Wilson's game. No, her dominance isn't fueled by skill alone. It's also powered by what insiders call friendly whistles. Look at the numbers, nearly 12 free throw attempts per game. On the surface, that screams dominance. But dig deeper, and a different story emerges. Wilson has mastered selling contact. Drive after drive ends with exaggerated falls, snap backheads, and loud appeals to officials. For years, WNBA officiating had protected stars like Wilson, allowing her offense to thrive not just on talent, but on generous calls. You could argue it's clever, even elite within the WNBA system. But here's the catch. That strategy becomes a liability the moment you step into international basketball. Clip 4. This is the part most fans overlook. Team USA coaches weren't impressed by polished WNBA highlight reels. They were studying international exhibitions possession by possession, detail by detail. And what they saw raised serious red flags. FIBA basketball operates under a completely different rhythm. MVPs, league status, and star names mean nothing. International refs allow more physical play. The same contact that sends Wilson to the free throw line in the WNBA often earns nothing more than a shrug overseas. That faster, rougher, uninterrupted style brutally exposes players whose offense depends on whistles. When you're building an Olympic roster, you can't ignore how games are actually called. Clip 5. And this is where the contrast with Caitlin Clark becomes impossible to miss. Clark plays on an entirely different wavelength. She launches from 30 feet. Shots no official on earth can take away. When contact happens, she doesn't flop or plead. She finishes through it and keeps moving. Her step-back threes, logo-range daggers, elite IQ, sharp footwork, and fearless shot selection create pure, self-generated offense. Skills that translate anywhere, anytime, no matter who's blowing the whistle. Meanwhile, evaluators watch Wilson's efficiency drop sharply in international play. Once the soft calls disappeared, her production fell fast. Clark's numbers stayed steady because her game relies on spacing, speed, and range, not forcing contact and hoping for a bailout. Side by side, the difference is glaring. Wilson attacks, absorbs contact, then hesitates, waiting for a whistle that never comes. Clark expects the hit, adjusts midair, and scores anyway. Team USA doesn't need stars who need the system. They need players who thrive without it. Final segment, fallout and consequences. Wilson reportedly expected December to bring more praise and hardware. Instead, Team USA quietly released its preliminary roster, and her name was nowhere to be found. Sources close to her camp described days of emotional fallout. After 2 years of believing she was untouchable, Wilson realized she'd been replaced by the very star she spent so much time dismissing, Caitlin Clark. Clark accepted her senior national pool invitation with grace and excitement, while Wilson's camp spiraled into crisis mode. Frantic calls, emergency meetings, excuses about scheduling conflicts that nobody believed. Team USA had already made its decision. They'd been watching everything. Every passive-aggressive post, every slick jab, every loaded interview. Wilson's negativity painted the picture of someone who damages locker room chemistry. Clark's tunnel vision focus on basketball made her the ideal teammate. Wilson's meltdown only confirmed what coaches already suspected. If a player can't handle being left off a roster, they can't handle the pressure of representing their country. Clark earned her place through elite skill, professionalism, and character. Wilson lost hers through jealousy and poor decisions.